was describing just how strong he is.
Like, you touch him.
He looks stringy, right? I mean, he's almost spaghetti strong.
Gumby.
Right? Where, I mean, and you can sense that in the way he runs. I mean, you've got to be you've got to have a certain type of strength to you if you're that fast. I mean, if you're running that fast and people are straining to catch you like people have running against him, running at him, and he just is so easily pulling away and running past people, that goes into a certain type of, like core strength that you have. I mean, that's that's not something you just roll out of bed and have. I mean, you gotta build that up. You have to work that out. You've got to, really strengthen that. And I believe that, yes, I was so surprised by Jim Nagy's answer to the draft status on Jayden Daniels yesterday. I can't even envision a world right now where he sees the second round. I really can't. For the premium that's put on quarterback, right? And look, Quinn Ewers announced earlier this week that he's possibly going back to school with the junior possibility and the evaluation period. That's probably not solid, but I think if he's saying that right now, that's where his head is, and he's leaning on going back. I think that the quarterback field, for as deep as this year is in college football and as deep as the draft class is, Daniels possesses a skill set that is very attractive to the NFL right now. It is one that the majority of the league, the majority of football is looking for, and one that the NFL has embraced over the last 5 to 7 years of bringing in these true dual threat quarterbacks and using that skill set at the next level. I mean, you rarely saw a quarterback run in the NFL before Cam Newton, and Cam Newton was kind of the outlier because he was just such a freaky athlete that could take these hits and run past people. But the offense and the pressure that it put on the defense of having to identify all 11 offensive players and account for the quarterback, really kind of slowly changed the NFL game. The Wildcat with Ronnie Brown put a premium on that. I mean, really kind of started that snowball rolling downhill where now, I mean, you've got RPO being called regularly on Sundays in the majority of offenses every NFL weekend. And when I look at Jayden Daniels, I mean, who's better at that skill set in college football right now than him? Really? I mean, Caleb Williams?
No, I think Jayden's a much better runner of the football. But
I agree.
My only pushback would be, me and Stewie got into this last night a little bit. We were looking at Desmond Ritter film, and he's had the same comeuppance as Desmond Ritter did, where he burst onto the scene a little bit. He has far more rushing yards, but the offense looked the same, where it was this this leap from junior to senior year, where it's like, oh man, how do you not draft Desmond Ritter? Like, he was fifth in the Heisman. Like, he made that kind of jump from off the draft board onto almost the Heisman scene. Obviously, Jayden has made a bigger leap, but it's that same Mike Denbrock offense where you kind of let it loose a little bit, then you see what Ritter does in the NFL, and here's a third-round pick, and he gets bitched for Taylor Heineke.
Fair. I was not watching Desmond Ritter thinking that he is the reason why this offense is playing at the level that it is. Like, he is the only reason. They had players around him. They had guys around him. They had a system that made sense, right? And he also wasn't as talented and as good as Jayden Daniels is. I mean, go back with me, right? Last year, coming out of this game, out of the Florida game, was the first time that you really saw Jayden Daniels throw the ball down the field. And when he started to do that, I can recall coming on the show being like, don't let him get that part of the game. Right. Because if he gets that part of the game, I mean, he's going to be almost impossible to defend, because at that point he had defined himself. He was a runner. Like, he was an exceptional runner as a quarterback.
He was winning games throwing for 86 yards.
Right. So, I mean,
and LSU was fine with it because the defense was good. This has unlocked him in a different way.
You saw that if he was able to get that part of the game where if he could throw the ball down the field, it was like, this guy is going to be, he's going to be different. Like I never thought that he would be this. I never anticipated that this is what he was going to be. But the fact that this is what he is, Lloyd, this is no fluke.
Oh, I'm not.
I was watching Desmond Ritter with I never bought in that he was going to be a good pro. I kind of thought, I'm looking at Jayden Daniels, and I'm not saying that this guy's going to be an all-pro, but it would surprise me if he's not a starter in the league over the next 3 years.
Yeah, I just don't think that they're going to take the chance of a first. I mean, I know the NFL is quarterback starved, but that's why I keep going back to the Desmond Ritter comparison. He threw for 2,200 yards his junior year, then 3,300 yards. So, and 30 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. And his junior year, 19 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Like, it's a familiar story of getting comfortable in the system. Then it just seems like to me, what happens in the NFL is either you get drafted early, which could happen to Jayden Daniels, which I don't want to happen to him, to be honest. I don't want him to get put into a system where it doesn't work out.
I see him somewhere 12 to 24, right? Which could work out to a place that you don't have to go in and save.
There's going to be this consensus around that his game doesn't translate to the NFL still.
Oh, why?
That's just the way that the league works. Like, you're going to see him probably, whether it be at the Senior Bowl or be at the Combine, where he makes some throws I don't know. They're going to come up with something like the ball, whatever. It just always seems to happen. They start nitpicking at you a little bit, and it seems like Jayden might be the one to drop out the draft.
I've kind of found that
I think he is. Look,
I believe
it ain't me, Coach.
I believe if they're criticizing you, if they're messing with you during that time, somebody loves you.
Mm-hmm.
Because somebody was messing with C.J. Stroud. Somebody was trying to play games with C.J. Stroud last year. Remember all of the talk leading into the draft about C.J. Stroud, and he wasn't passing tests. He couldn't read defenses. He wasn't a core. He was going to take – C.J. Stroud might be legitimately the offensive player of the year. Forget rookie status. He might be the best offensive player in the league. It's bold, but you know what I'm saying? It only takes one. It only takes somebody that sees you and says, that's our guy. That's who we need. Go get him. And I believe that Jayden Daniels has that draw from at least a couple of general managers and head coaches that are sitting there in the first round thinking, I didn't think we needed a quarterback. We might have needed a quarterback, but if that guy's there, we need a quarterback. And we're going to take him because I think his game translates, and I think his game translates for one reason: accuracy. I don't think that you can fake accuracy. I don't think the system can make accuracy happen. I think that development, I think that improvement, I think that working day in, day out on perfecting a craft and trying to improve a skill is what has happened with Jayden Daniels. And consistently throughout his senior season, his accuracy, to me, has been his most impressive skill of playing the quarterback position. And I think when you're going to the league, one of the highest evaluated spots at quarterback is the accuracy.
I would kind of join the two between accuracy and decision-making. We talked about it a little bit yesterday.
I think they go hand in hand.
That's what I'm saying. His ability to get through his progressions this year is far and away better. That's what's been the transition for him. Him looking like he's playing the quarterback position like he's done it before already. He's already played the game while he's playing it. It reminds you of Burrow in 2019. I know what I'm looking at, and I'm about to dice you up for as many yards as I want. And that's what Jayden Daniels has brought to LSU this year, where maybe you didn't see it at Florida State, but you saw a natural progression of he looks better. You didn't see the deep ball. And then, as Blair said, after Mississippi State, I don't know if you want to give so much credit to this virtual reality, but they go hand in hand as to when he started using this as a progression to, all right, I feel like I'm in the offense all the time. And his ability to go through reads and not rely, because we were going into the season thinking, how often they're going to have to run the ball? You got 6 running backs, is he going to take the next step? And then you look up, and he's thrown for 350 every game, 400, 500, and it's become the Jayden Daniels show where he should be your Heisman winner.
He's the best player in college football. I think at this point,
I think that's the other thing. You
really can't argue that.
That's the other thing they're going to have to shake is is he a college football quarterback or is he an NFL quarterback? Because you saw even last night, Lamar Jackson was limping the entire second half. Like, that's some of the things he's going to have to shake as knocks against him because of his – I mean, he's Lamar built. Like, they have a very similar structure.
I mean, I couldn't believe he stayed healthy last year. I really couldn't. I mean, I couldn't believe that he did not get hurt until the Texas A&M game.
Right.
You know what I mean? For as much as he ran in between the hash marks and played in the middle of the field, it really was surprising to see him stay as healthy as he did because of just how physical the game is. There's no way he can do that in the NFL. It can't operate like that if he's going to play that position every single down. But he has the skill set to use his legs to beat you, and I just think that means something now in that league. 5 years ago, I would have said, doesn't translate, doesn't make sense. Maybe a third stringer for 2 or 3 years, and then he'll be...
Yeah, there ain't the Miami Dolphins taking the Pat White train.
Right, but in today's NFL...
Pat White would be a first-rounder,
and
again.
And a starter.
And now they have as somebody said in the chat, and I agree with this. This is kind of like my whole point. It's got to be the right fit, right team, right system.
Absolutely.
Because if you put him on the Carolina Panthers, there's no difference. There's nothing you can do.
Sure, and look, that is.
And you could break. Did you hear?
There's only a selected few amount of people that can beat a system, right? I mean, like, for the most part, the majority of athletes need to go where it's a good fit, where the system fits them. I mean, there's only a few people like LeBron,
Steph Curry,
Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you put them. I mean, they're going to thrive. But I mean, for the most part, people need to be. Jamarcus Russell went to the total wrong system, right? I mean, went to the wrong spot. So I agree. Yes, I mean, it does have to be a good fit and the right spot, but I think that there's more of those than we think. I really think that there is a head coach and a general manager right now that knows he's their guy, and if he's on the board at a certain spot in the first round, they're going to take him. I just can't imagine him getting, at this point, for the level that he's playing, the quarterback position and how. I mean, quarterback is the drug of sport.
Oh my God!
Right? I mean, you'll do anything.
It's the early 2000s, NBA center.
Yeah, I mean, it's
gotta have it.
I'll do anything, whatever it takes. I mean, there's only usually about 5 to 7 of them on the planet at one time that can play the position at the highest level at a true competitive rate. Right? I mean, think about it. There's only about 6-7 teams that can win the Super Bowl, and it's only because they have a quarterback. And if Burrow's hurt, one of them dropped out last night, right? Without Burrow, the Bengals are done, dead. Without Aaron Rodgers, the Jets dead, right? It's
look at the Patriots.
Exactly. I mean, there was an argument on whether it was Belichick or Brady that was behind all the success. Is there an argument now? I mean, I'm not trying to.
Belichick's a bad coach,
I'm not trying to discredit Belichick, but I mean, even the most elite of them, if they don't have a quarterback, they look incompetent. I mean, they look like they don't know what's going on, and we all know that that's not the case. But New England looks lost, and it's just it's. I mean, if you're looking at Jayden Daniels and you're saying, man, this guy's dominating.